Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Story Time with teacher Andrea. I hope all of you are well. I know this is a pretty difficult time for the whole world right now, as many of us are staying home as much as possible, practicing our social distancing or self-isolation just to be safe and try to keep this COVID-19 virus under control. But of course, on the flip side, that should be giving us lots of time to read books. I mean, we always have to look for the silver lining on the difficult times. In light of all the sad and confusing and a little bit scary news that we're getting these days, I thought I would choose a fun and silly and lighthearted story to read today. So, the book I've chosen is a new book that will be going into my school library. Hopefully, we'll be heading back to school soon. We're still in our term break, our school holiday here in Brunei, but hopefully when things are safe enough, we'll all be heading back to school. And this will be in the school library. It's one of our free books from Scholastic Book Club. It's by the author Andrea, and it's called There's a Big Green Frog in the Toilet. This book is illustrated by Heath Mackenzie. So he's written a few funny stories. There's a couple more that will be coming into the library as well. This is the first one. So what would you do if you went in to use the toilet and saw a big green frog? Don't know what I would do. All right. Well, a big green frog was hopping along, looking for a place to have a swim. And he came across a puddle of water, and the big old frog jumped in. What do you think the big puddle of water is? Any guesses? Let's see if you're correct. Well, he jumped up and down, splashed all around. He was having so much fun. Then, all of a sudden, the lights came on, and this little kid said, "Mom!" "There's a big green frog in the toilet, and it's looking up at me. There's a big green frog in the toilet, and I'm busting for a wee." "Well, it's big and green and slimy, and it's giving me the creeps. There's a big green frog in the toilet, and it's looking up at me." What would you do? Well, Mum came in and said with a grin, "Don't you worry, dear. We'll just flush that toilet, and that big old frog will disappear." Do you think that'll do the trick? It's not a bad suggestion. Well, she flushed and flushed and flushed again, so much that she got a blister. But that big old frog wouldn't go away, so she said, "We'd better get your sister." Looks like the frog's having a jacuzzi in there. He's liking all the water being flushed around him. Well, my sister came down and said with a frown, "I've got this special device. It should suck that big frog out, if we just use it right." Well, she pushed and she plunged and plunged and pushed, so much that her face went red. But that frog wouldn't budge, and the plunger ended up stuck right on her head. "There's a big green frog in the toilet, and it's looking up at me. There's a big green frog in the toilet, and I'm busting for a wee." green and slimy and it's giving me the creeps. There's a big green frog in the toilet and it's looking up at me. Well, Dad pulled up in his big old truck. He said, "Stand back and let me through," he said. "I'm gonna get rid of that old frog if it's the last thing that I do." Let's see if Dad can solve the problem. Well, he crashed and banged and stomped around. He was taking longer than he oughta. And he came out 20 minutes later. All covered in toilet water. There's still a big green frog in the toilet. And it's looking up at me. There's a big green frog in the toilet. And I'm busting for a wee. Well, it's big and green and slimy and it's giving me the creeps. There's a big green frog in the toilet. And I really, really need to pee. Oops, too late now. Oh dear, the end. Poor little guy. He tried really hard to wait though, poor thing. What would you do if there was a big green frog in your toilet? The closest that's happened to me is, I think it's happened maybe 3 times. I leave some of my shoes outdoors and I live here in Brunei where it's hot and tropical, and especially on rainy nights you hear lots of frogs. And it's happened 3 times that I've gone to put on my hiking shoes to go for a nice walk in the jungle, and when I put my foot in, I felt something was inside and I knew right away that my foot wasn't going to fit, so I had to take it out and look, and it was a frog. 3 times. Actually, it happened, and all 3 times happened within, I think, 1 year, and it hasn't happened in a long time. But it kind of gave me a bit of a scare. I was startled. I did scream, but I didn't leave, luckily. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you're keeping well. Remember to stay home, and always remember to wash your hands. Try to sing maybe happy birthday 2 times. You can go through the ABC song, 20 seconds, lots of soap and water. And right now, we all just need to stay home, and we all just need to protect ourselves and each other by isolating. So we can at least communicate online, and I hope you enjoyed this story. And I might try to put some more on this week as we're still at home and on holiday. And let me know in the comments. I'll leave the comments open for this video if you enjoyed it and what you're doing. And I hope everybody's doing well. And I hope to see you soon. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum. Bye.